Hey guys, welcome back to Data Products. In this video, we're going to be working with Plotly. So Plotly is a package, it's kind of like ggplot, but it's interactive. So it's built in HTML where you can hover over points and you can see what the values are of those points. So it's really good for like an RPubs document. It loses its utility if you want to make something for like a PowerPoint or a paper, because the hover stuff doesn't work obviously because PDFs aren't interactive, but it's great for reports with like RPubs, or you can even send an HTML to somebody and they can open it up in your web browser and they can see the interactive stuff. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, first things first, let's open up our studio. Let's create a new file and we'll make it R Markdown and we'll call it Plotly. We're gonna do line graphs first and HTML because we want that to be interactive, right? So let's get rid of that. All right, first let's load our required package. Don't like those capitalized. All right, so library, and it's Plotly. All right, and run that so it's there. Let's start with a scatter plot of the orange data set. So the orange data set is a measurement of the circumference of trees, specifically orange trees. So let's do orange is as data frame, and this is a built-in data set, so orange. So I'm going to just run this real quick just so we can look at this data set. So you can see we have the, 5 different trees, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have their age, and this must be in days because I doubt there are orange trees that are 1,300 years old. And then we have the circumference of those trees. Okay, so if we can do this, the question mark orange. My picture's in the way, let me move up a second here. 35 rows, 3 columns, and records the growth of orange trees. Age, it's days. That's why I said days. Circumference in millimeters. So you kind of get an idea of what is going on with that. Okay, let's get back to coding here. So we're going to do plot _ly, and we're going to say data equals orange, so it knows where to grab our data from. X equals by age, Y equals by circumference, and then we're going to do Plotly data equals orange. Actually, let's stop there. Let's just run this. Okay, so as you can see, we have very basic stuff here, a basic graph where we have our circumference and our age, and we have the numbers showing up. So if you hover over it, it says the X value, so this is the age is 1,004 days, the circumference is 167 millimeters. But we can add more to that. That's very basic. Now let's add some more info. Okay, so let's do Plotly, and our data is again going to equal orange. Our X is going to be by age, our Y is going to be by circumference. And if you don't, so this, when I say by, I think it's called tilde, maybe. It's the squiggly line symbol right next to the left of the 1 on most keyboards. So if you have a hard time reading my font, that's what I'm using. Okay, and then we're going to add to this color equals by tilde tree, size equals by age, text equals paste. So we're going to have multiple things. This is kind of like collection. Tree ID, tree, open left arrow, I guess I would call that, BR, right arrow, age, circumference, and then circumference. Okay, so why did we just type all that out? Let's run it here quick. Okay, so as you can see what we've added, so now the color is based on the tree. We have one, I don't know why these aren't in order, why it does that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have the size by age. So as they get older, the dots get larger. And we have the text. So now when I hover over them, it tells me what tree it is. It tells me the circumference and the age. And that's it. And so the BR is, when I put BR before age, that's a line break. So you see it puts age on the next line down. So you could put another BR if you wanted before circumference and would put it on a third line. So yeah, so this is pretty handy, right? And so one thing I also want to point out with Plotly is just these cool functions at the top here. So you can zoom, maybe. Is this as zoomed as I can get? Oh, there we go. So I zoomed in on that little section, and then I can reset axes by hitting this home button. I can auto scale. It automatically starts auto scale. I can zoom in, zoom out. So now if I hit auto scale, it'll put me back in here. You can select certain ones. So I just select those two. I can do a box selection like that, and then just check out what's going on there. You can download it as a PNG file if you wanted. Is that all of them? I think that's it. Pan. I can kind of move around. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty interactive compared to like the ggplot makes very nice customizable things, but Plotly makes really cool interactive things. But like I said, if you were to use this, say you wanted to make a paper or have a figure for a paper, and I don't know how to get rid of my zooming. Oh, and the other thing, you can do this compare hover. So if you're like, I want to look at all the values at this 1000 here, you can see that at that same time point, we can look at all 5 of the data points at the same time, which makes it nice for, you know, if you're wanting to compare, you don't have to go back and forth over those dots. But the thing is though, is say you want to make this a figure, it's not as nice as ggplot in that it's not as customizable. It's more built on interactivity than it is customization. Okay, so let's keep going. So now let's create a random distribution and add it to our data frame. So we're going to call this trace1, and we're going to say our norm. So random numbers, we're going to have 35 random numbers where our mean is equal to 120 and our standard deviation equals 10. So that's what we're picking from. And then new data, we're going to do data frame orange trace1. So we're taking the orange data and we're just going to add our random data to it. And we're just doing this so we can make another plot on top of what we've plotted previously. Okay, we'll use the random numbers as, excuse me, holy cow, as lines on the graph, and, oh, that's it. That sneeze just knocked my brain loose. Okay, so now let's do plot underscore Lee. We're going to do data equals new data. So that's our data frame that we put the random numbers in. And we're going to do x by age again, y by, or equals by circumference, color equals by tree, size equals by age. Then we're going to do text equals paste, and then we're going to do tree. I'm just going to copy it so you can just copy this paste function right here because we're going to have the same thing. So let's just do that. So if you need time to look at it, tree ID, tree, break, age. I'm going to put another break in here and see if how that looks on this one. Circumference, and then we're going to pipe down, and we're going to do add trace, y equals by trace 1, mode equals lines, and then we're going to pipe down one more time. Oh, I got it backwards. There we go. Add trace y equals by circumference, mode equals markers. Oh. Okay, so let's run this guy. Oops. Okay, so as you can see here now, we have the same graph essentially, where we have the overline. As you can see now, I have circumference on its own line because I put that extra break in there before the word circumference, so it pushed it down compared to the last one. But as you can see, we've plotted two different sets here. So now we also have these lines here that were from our random number, and we have our trees here. So say you had tree growth over time, and this was these lines you could add for like average temperature over that time, or the amount of water, rainfall in that field or something like that. So you can add multiple graphs like that. But we didn't have that data, so we made random numbers. Okay, so now let's create a graph with the option of showing as a scatter or a line and add labels. Alright, so this is going to be our final product for the line graphs here. So plot Lee, data equals orange, x equals by age, y equals by circumference, color equals by tree, size equals by age, or actually we'll do size by, do you want to do by circumference? We'll do size by circumference. Text equals, and I'm just going to paste, hopefully it's still in my thing here. Yep, same thing. Now we're going to pipe down, and we'll do add trace, y equals circumference, mode equals marker, and we will pipe down, layout, and this is where we can do title equals plot of orange, let's capitalize orange data with switchable trace. Up update menus equals list, list, type equals down drop. So you can have different types of menus. We're just going to use the drop down menu. Y equals 0.8. Buttons equals list. So now we have to list what buttons. List method equals restyle. So there's a lot of options going on here. And it might seem like a lot. So what I would do is, if you were interested in creating something like super fancy like this, to check out the Plotly documentation, so you can get a better idea of what all these different options are, because there's a lot of cool customization you do. So here you see we have our arguments from our list is mode or markers, so those are the words that are going to be in there. Label, make sure I'm safe, equals marker. And then I want to list method equals restyle. Args equals list. Mode lines. Label equals lines. Okay, so all right. So it seems like a lot. So I'm not expecting you to be like, wow, I understand this right away. I just want to show you some of the stuff that you can do with Plotly and give you a complex example of how complex you can make your graphs. So all this layout stuff, what this is all doing, so we have our title. So we have our type of list is drop down, and we have where we want it on the over here. You can change that number and it'll move it around. We have what type of the buttons that we want, and so as you can see here, what happened to our lines? List args buttons equals list, list method equals restyle, args equals list, mode markers, label equals marker, list method equals restyle, list mode, lines, labels equals lines. So this should say lines in there, and I'm not quite sure why it doesn't. So let's try this. Oops. See if it says lines now. Hey, there we go. Lines. Okay. So something, I'm not going to sit there and look at it forever. So I changed something slightly in here. There was a slight typo. Anyways, so markers, lines, you can change the style of your graph. It's essentially layering two graphs and then allowing you to select between the two, which is nice. So, you know, you can do the same zoom stuff with the line graph. But that is it. So as you can see, Plotly is a very nice interactive data product tool where we can actually interact with the data. Sometimes it's, you know, it's kind of inconvenient to be looking at a paper and be like, I wonder what value that is on the scatter plot. So this is nice because you can hover over it and you can get the exact value. You could actually reproduce the data set. You know, you have to go through and type everything into Excel or into a data frame or something. But it's very cool, very interactive. It's a nice, it gives, you know, people a good idea of, you know, the values of your data. So I'm not going to ramble on. With that said, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit like, please hit subscribe. More content to come. We'll actually be doing some more Plotly stuff in the next video.